Hey guys, my name is Jake Robinson. I want to show you how I support my tomato plants. And let's take you on a tour of my tomato garden. I've got a row of tomato plants right down through here, butted right up against a row of cedar trees. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but my tomatoes are starting to come in. Got green tomatoes on the vine. And let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 15, maybe 20 tomato plants. And the way I've got them supported is I didn't want to use tomato cages. Tomato cages will get, about this tall, and then once your tomato plant grows above your tomato cage, you got a problem how you support it, and it gets tricky. And there's two basic types of tomato plants. There's the determinants and indeterminants. A determinant is a smaller plant. It grows to a determined size, like a bush maybe, and it stops growing. These, though, on the other hand, are indeterminates. You can see, like, that one's stunning for some reason, but this one's taller than the next one. These things can grow as tall as they can. They may even grow to the top of the support here. I've had tomato plants grow 8 or 9 feet tall. So I want to give them an opportunity to continue to grow up. And so what I did was I built a support system. This black pipe you'll see here is my support system to hold the string, and the string holds the tomato plant. And so I'm going to show you how that works together. But the black pipe right off the bat, by the way, it didn't come from the store that way. It comes in a silver style here. This is this is electrical conduit, and it comes in 10 foot sections, but it only costs $2 a section as of 2014. And so I like to use it because it's dirt cheap. I don't think you can find any other type of pipe or bar or support system like that for less per foot price. And so what I did was I also used rebar, and this is about a 2-foot piece, maybe 18-inch piece of rebar. And what you do is you drive your rebar down into the ground, and then you can see the black pipe that I painted it black. You can see that I just basically, here's what happens. Your rebar fits nicely right inside your conduit. So once your rebar is securely driven into the ground with a hammer, you just take your rebar, take your conduit and set it right on top and let it run down till it stops. And then you've got yourself a support system. Now, I did bend these just a bit because if you notice and you look at the bar is actually coming out of the cedar trees, so the bar is bent and then straightens out, and I have them pounded back down into the ground almost in line with the trunks of the trees. So that keeps most of it out of the way, and it gave the top of the support to be right above the tomato plants, just outside the tree line. Now, if you're lucky and you already have some type of support system that you can attach your string to, you can tie it to, or hang it off of, then you don't need this system. This is just, I had to have something to tie the strings to. Technically, I guess I could have got up there on a ladder and tied the strings to the branches of the tree, but I want something solid, and I don't want it to give with the wind, etc. I want it to keep it pretty firm. So next, let's take a look at how the clips and the strings work. Okay, these clips are plastic, and try to turn it so you can see it real well. And they're hinged, so they open and close like a clamshell, and they have a little connector there. You press it and open it up. And when you open it up, you might be able to see this groove here. That groove is where the string fits. So when you take your clip, you open it up and make sure that string is right in the groove, and then you close it and let it clip. As you can see, it is now securely attached. It does not slide. It will not move. So now you've got a little round collar, the foot around, put around your tomato plant. I guess you could use this for other plants, but this is for, I use them mainly for tomatoes. And of course this is a tomato contest, right? So it comes in pretty handy. These things, usually you're going to buy them in large quantities. I bought 500 of these, about 25 bucks. You might want to go in with a friend or a neighbor and split the cost, and he takes $2.50 and you take $2.50. But on these plants here, you might, I've used so far 1, 2, 3, probably 3 to 4 per plant so far, 5 on that one. So I guess if you went all the way to the top of the tree there, I mean top of the support system, I might wind up using 10. I got 20 plants. There's a couple hundred right there. Good thing about these plastic clips is that they're reusable, so you don't have to throw them away. At the end of the season, just take them off and put them back in a box, save them, and then use them next year. If you leave them on throughout the winter, they will become brittle and probably break on you. Also, as far as the string I use, it's not nylon, and I suggest you do not use nylon. I use nylon and learned the hard way. Nylon will break down with the weather. It'll actually just start to disintegrate and shred. And I came out one day and had a whole one side of my tomato plants laying on the ground because all of the strings just broke basically at the same time. Not sure what type of string this is. It's weaved together. It's not a single filament, but it is tough, and I hadn't had any problem with it. And it's dirt cheap. You can get a roll of this, 79 cents or something like that for 500 feet, and should do you. Now, what I do next, I'm going to show you how I connect the string to the ground, because I'm not actually connecting it to the ground. You may have to use something else if you connect it to the ground. I happen to have a built-in feature that works well with this system. Let me show it to you. These are raised bed gardens, so I've had other plants in them. I grew squash the year before and let them grow up into the tree, let them climb the cedar trees. But as you can see, this raised bed has cedar planks running down the edge of them. So it makes it really handy for me just to nail a nail straight in there. And you can see I use a fairly large head type nail, like a roofing nail, and just drive it into the board, wrap your string around, drive it on home, and now you got a tight hold there. Then you take, and if I were to do this, let me just show it to you. So if I'm going to start a new string, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my nail, find a spot on the board, tap it in, and don't drive it all the way home. Take your string and just wrap around the base of the nail a couple of times. Take your hammer and tap it on home. So now you've got one end of your string securely tied to your board. Next, what you're going to do is take your ball of string and just toss it over your bar. Okay, so I got it over there. Straighten it up. Now I've straightened it up, and now I've got a string that's attached to one end, but now the other end we have to attach. So I'm going to take my knife and cut it about chest high. Okay, so now I've got a loose end. So how do we tie it? You could just tie a slip knot on it, but what you're going to find is you're going to wind up with slack in your string. So here's a trick that I learned on how to make that thing super tight, and you can tighten it anytime you want to, and then you can actually adjust it. Let me show you how we do that. So you can use anything. You want to use something long though, like a regular nail, this square nail. I found a bunch of these at a construction site that got permission, said yeah, you can pick them up if you want to. So it's free. It could be a deck screw, it could be anything. But make it long enough so you can work with it. In this case, I'll use the regular nail. And what I'm going to do is take the loose end, and I'm going to tie a slip knot. Now, don't ask me how to tie a slip knot. Go online if you can't figure it out. But you can just loop it over, have a lot of extra string, and then bend it back through and catch it itself so it ties a knot on itself. So now that string should slip in there. So I'm going to put my nail in there and try to tighten it up. Let's see if I'm going to... yeah. Alright, so I've tightened it up. I'll cut the excess string off. So now I've got this string tied to the nail. This is the cool part about this system, I think. One of the cool parts is you can use this as an adjustable variation to tighten your string. So what you do is you take your nail and lay it over the other string, the string that's coming up from the board, and then point it downward, and as you do so, wrap the bottom part of the string over the top of the nail, and then point the nail upward and wrap the same string around the nail, and you let go, it holds. Now that one is not really super tight. I don't have to undo it. All I have to do now is point it up and wrap another round. Point it up, and I can keep doing that until I get it as tight as I want to. So that's adjustable. And so if I come through here and I feel like that string is getting loose because maybe the whole thing is kind of adjusted itself, you can simply take your nail and just put another wrap around it and make it as tight as you want to. That's a great way to make your string tight without having to get, do exact lengths of string or have to worry about learning special knots, that sort of thing. And it's easy to take down at the end of the season. So you just pull your nail out or unwrap it. So now you've got a tight string. When you're planting your tomatoes for the first time, what I normally do is I take several of the clips and just clip them above the plant. So if I planted a plant here, and which I did and it died, what I would do there is plant it and then put 6 or 8 extra clips above it. So then when I come through the garden after I've planted it, I come back through and see, okay, my first clip went right there, and now it's grown up above it. I'll add another clip, and then I've added another clip, and I've added this clip. So as an example, this plant right here really needs to have another clip. So let's go ahead and put one on. I'll take one off of this extra string here. Okay, I'm gonna find a spot on the string, and then I'm gonna open it up and pull my string out there. Kind of hard to do this one-handed. Bring my tomato plant over and close the clip. Snap it together. Bam. Now I've got a little bit more support for that tomato plant. So that's a simple system. I don't know how much I put into it cost-wise, but it's a one-time investment. I can reuse this bar. And I will say this, I need to give you a heads up. If I had cut these things at 5-foot lengths the year before, because I had this raised bed garden here right down this row. I had 2 rows where my pole came up and out, and I grew my tomatoes this way and I grew my tomatoes that way. So I actually built this electrical conduit specifically for that bed. So this one I just kind of rigged up. Don't know if you can see this in here, but that is a T connector for black pipe, a 1/2-inch black pipe. It just so happens that the conduit will fit in there, and it's not threaded, it's not tightly secured, but it does work good enough that it will support that pipe. So you can see where I've taken 2 5-foot pieces, and even though I had a vertical support here and one here, the next section here I just decided to let it go. I didn't want to put in too many vertical supports, so I just stuck one of those T connectors in, and ran my next 5-foot section, put a T-connector in, and then of course the T-connector comes in handy so you can run your vertical. So my vertical it comes down from the bend and down to the base of, near the base of the tree. So in this particular system I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 verticals, and I've used that and then I think I may have told you about this, maybe not. The way I've connected some of these corners here is these are 90-degree elbows that they have set screws in them, 2 set screws, and so you just pop them on the top of your pipe, take your screwdriver and tighten them up, and then you can just insert the other pipe right in the corner there and run it down. Again, this is just a way for me to rig it up, but if you already have a trellis system or you have another system that you can, existing system you can tie your strings to, the key to this thing is with the tomato clips and how you tie your string. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer it. And this is for the tomato contest, and I hope you got something out of it. Even if I don't win, I'm hoping you'll learn something that'll help you in your tomato garden growing. Have a great day.